Chaque semaine, la rédaction d'Afrowebtv vous propose un condensé de l'actualité des 7 derniers jours. Suivez sur Afrowebtv l'actualité politique, économique et sociale, bref, dans toute son entièreté, sur www.afrowebtv.com. Veuillez vous abonner à notre chaîne Afrowebtv sur YouTube et Facebook pour ne rien rater sur l'essentiel de l'actualité de la semaine. Afrowebtv, au service de la communauté africaine à la diaspora. Afrowebtv, c'est l'Afrique qui gagne.
Hello viewers, welcome to Afrowebtv. Welcome to the show Let's Talk with Horeb Anthony. And this is a very new show that will actually give you the right to express yourself on topics that are very key to Africa and all over the world. But today, being the Nigerians Independence Day, we are really going to focus on Nigeria, having most of our discussion on Nigeria today. And to join us on this show, you can react by calling us on +1 319 462-8979. You can also go to YouTube, Afrowebtv, Facebook, Afrowebtv, or you can go to www.afrowebtv.com if you really want to take part. And this is Let's Talk Show with Horeb Anthony this morning. And I have some great people in the show today. Analysts that are going to look at the whole thing we're going to talk about today, the major topics that we have. And on the show this morning, Nigeria at 62. Yes, the Federal Republic of Nigeria is 62 today. Happy independence to Nigeria. We are going to be looking at what have we achieved so far as a country. And two, Nigeria decides. 2023 elections are around the corner. Campaigns have taken off. What are we expecting as Nigerians, those at home and those in the diaspora? And then we go to football this morning or afternoon, wherever you are. It depends on that. We're going to be looking at the midfielder, the Nigerian midfielder, the international Chelsea player who retired this week. That was Mikel Obi. And finally, in the entertainment field, we have Wizkid, yes, and Tiwa Savage, who just joined the trend, Amapiano trend. Like when it comes to their tones, are you going to compare it to Ashake, or who else are you comparing their Amapiano to? We are going to be looking at all those topics this morning or this afternoon, depending on where you are watching us from. Once again, welcome. Production is made by Mr. Roger Ashu, and I'm Horeb Anthony. If you are ready, the talk starts now. Okay, on the show, let me show you this morning the gentlemen I have on this show. You can already see them. Let me start by introducing you to Mr. Kingsley Eze. Kingsley, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Horeb. Nice to be here.
How are you?
And nice to have
How
you
are you
here.
doing?
I'm doing greatly.
Doing great.
How are you doing?
Exactly. I'm doing fine. Thank you. I need to remind you all that Kingsley is the history and political analyst, and is a student of history at the master's level at Mississippi. So, instead, Davis.
Yeah, good morning. Can you hear me?
Hello, Davis. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. Good morning. How you doing, Mr. Anthony Horeb?
I'm doing great, and you?
I'm okay. I'm perfectly well. Thank you very much.
All right.
And thank you for
Davis.
the show.
Yes, Davis Otude is an expert in health and entertainment discourses, and he's a student of pharmacy at the University of Mississippi in Oxford. And from there, adjunct to the legal and the social political analyst we have on this show this morning, Jeremiah Agwakin. Jeremiah, good morning.
Hi, Mr. Anthony Horeb. It's so nice to see
How are
you.
you?
And good morning to the other guests on the show.
Good
All
morning.
right,
Morning.
Jeremiah is also a student at the University of Mississippi, masters in creative writing, and then he's going to look at with us this morning issues concerning the legal aspect of whatever discussion we're going to have here this morning. So, gentlemen, let's start from Nigeria. Is 62. What have we achieved so far? And we have to start this discussion from the east. We have the historian with us here. King Easy. From 1960 down to 2022, it's been a long journey. How do you see the journey Nigeria has gone through so far?
Thank you very much for that question. Nigeria 62. I want to first of all start by saying congratulations to Nigeria. We are 62 years old today, and we can't deny that fact. Whether we like or we want to be where we are today, or we still have a long journey to go, congratulations to Nigeria. We are getting old in number. From the 1960s, I just want to do a survey of what has been the developmental trajectory of the Nigerian state. And today everybody can say that Nigeria is not the nation that they envisaged. If you ask people that went through independence, people that celebrated independence, people above 62 years old, let's say 60, 60, 68, 69, 70 and above, if you ask them today how is Nigeria doing in retrospect to the expectation that they had before the independence, they will tell you that their hopes are shattered. And that is the situation of Nigeria today. But let's look at what has happened. In 1960, in the first decade of our independence, there was remarkable developmental trajectory when we're still under the federalist system of governments, true federalism, when we're practicing true federalism, regionalism at that point. The East, the West, and the North, they were competing against each other to see who will emerge, victorious in the developmental trajectory in education, in health, in agriculture, in every sector. So there was competition, and people were like, Nigeria at that point in time cannot be compared to countries like India, like Vietnam. Nigeria had a very solid economic background, and people were expectant that Nigeria was going to be a great nation. Right. Then we went into the Civil War, 1967 to 1960. And when we came back, the country was torn apart. Right. There was high, violence, ethnic chauvinism, and all this thing became well entrenched into the Nigerian system. Then, consequent to that, the oil boom of the 1970s also made sure that Nigeria had good money. At this point in time, Nigeria's currency was more than the USD dollar, the US dollars that we're using today. So the country had uh, a good plan. However, the problem was that the discovery of oil, we entered into a mono economy, right? We dived into mono economy. In the 1970s, someone like Gowon will make a statement like Nigeria, the problem of Nigeria is not money, but what to do with the money, right? The oil boom, we had so much
Mhm.
money, right? So we see mismanagement, we see poor economic planning coming into play, and without checks and balances of the military government, we were done. And by the time we entered the 1980, when the global depression struck Nigeria, our economy nosedived, and since then we've not recovered from that. We've not recovered from that economic depression of the 1980s, because in the 1990s, Major General Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida, the then military president of Nigeria, as he wants to be addressed, you know, accepted the IMF loans the terms of the norms. And we, for the first time, went undertook what is called structural adjustment program and devalued the naira in order to attract more foreign investment. But how are you attracting more foreign investment in a country that is not even safe? So at the end of the day, there was no foreign investment. There was no organic. There was no organic industrial development as well, because the government was not really directly influencing or interested in developing the local industries, right?
Okay.
So,
Yes. I think let's look at now. We've seen so many things are going wrong, but let's
mhm,
look at the other side. What good achieve? I think if we need to balance the whole thing, certainly there are things that we've achieved in this country. Jeremiah, can you share with us, looking at Nigeria as a whole, Adam, apart from what the historian has said, looking at what we're expecting and what we haven't gotten, but I think there should be things that we can actually praise Nigeria for today.
Thank you very much for your brilliant introduction, Mr. Kingsley Easy. I am well convinced that Nigeria has not lived up to his expectation, and it will be a delusion of the grandest order to assume that yeah, everything is beautiful. But when you are talking about the kind of retrogression that the young nation has gone into through the years of post-independence and up to this moment, I was thinking about a soldier that went to war, came back home with injuries as a proof of survivor, not just as a proof of survivor, but as a proof of I lived through that, so I can do anything else. I was thinking about the fact that Nigeria has become the biggest economy in Africa, overtaking countries like Egypt, who has had a historical head start in development. Thinking about countries like South Africa, who was ruled by during the apartheid era, who was ruled by what was the white man, who we attribute a lot of competence in administration to, and which is why some people will say that the British people should not have left us. They should have still colonized. We will we will still be as big as uh, countries like South Africa. But today we are the biggest economy. Whether that translates into the realities of the common Nigerians, that's a story for another day. Yeah, biggest economy in Africa, despite the fact that our economy has dived since the days of the structural adjustment program by just like Mr. Kingsley said, you know, that's a very big strike. Our entertainment industry, I know that we are not into the entertainment industry now, but it's a very big export for us. Intellectually, Nigerians are doing great things at the envy of other countries. But that is at the very individual level, when you're talking about things that Nigerians are doing, but what is Nigeria itself? What is it doing? Where is it? I can't say that everything is well, but I can say that we still have a long way, but we're right on track.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Agwaki. Kingsley, before I get back to you, let me go to um, Davis. Mr. Twigby, tell us, like, quickly, so far, being a young Nigerian, how do you see yourself? What hope do you think this country is preparing for you?
Well, thank you once again for having me on this show. And at the same time, good morning to my colleagues and everyone out there. Well, I would say Nigeria, regarding the fact that, we had a lot going on for the past years now. We're getting to 62 years of our independence. I would say we're still getting there. We're not there yet, but we'll still get there someday. So, but at least the future now, we're looking at, how what could happen in the next coming months. Like our election is fast approaching next year. So we feel like we need a change. Nigeria wants to take back his country to become a better one. So we want to make sure that the right leader is being elected to at least elevate Nigerians and young youths from poverty and this whole issue of crimes and insecurities around the country. This particular president can be able to solve that problem because we feel we have gone past those era of let's just leave it as it is. This is Nigeria, anything goes. This time around, we want to take back the country as our own, make it a better one. So I feel like this coming election is a big opener, is an eye opener for us as young youths to make the right decision, to make Nigeria a better one. And like what my humble colleague Jeremiah said about the entertainment industry, it has gone far beyond what we expected. Nigeria is all over the world right now. People want to know what's going on. People want to come back to see what's going on. Nigeria put Africa in the map there, because of what we have been seeing in the entertainment industry right now. So I feel like you said, like I said before, we are getting there. Well, and everything with God's grace and with the right leader being elected in the coming elections, at least things will turn out for us for the better. Let's hope and see how it goes. So that's my own little contribution regarding that issue. But happy independence to Nigeria. I'm a proud Nigerian and I'm happy to be here.
Kingsley, you actually wanted to say something, but before you say that, I want to ask you, looking at Nigeria's democracy today, like right now, as we're talking, some hours ago, there was a coup d'etat in Burkina Faso. Okay, right? That was a second one, probably in this year already. Yeah, there's a coup d'etat. And if you look at Nigeria, right from this now, if you, after 2 tenures, like Nigerian president know that I don't need to stay for a third tenure. I don't need, like, but in some other countries in Africa, we see that happening. In Ivory Coast, it happened. In uh, which other, if you look at
Gabon.
Cameroon today, in Gabon, if you look at Cameroon today, the same president has been there for so many years. If you look at, you go to Togo, for example, the same thing is happening there, from father to son. But in Nigeria, we can see that it's a question of region, but we don't see things like from father to son happening. Can't we say that at least at that level, Nigeria has made a lot of progress?
I agree with you. You can definitely say that. It's been a tumultuous year over the years, but it is something that we should hold to ourselves and say, okay, we were able to achieve a democratic, to be able to institute a functioning democratic system, even though it's mad with so many problems today. But I know that Nigerian democracy is something to be proud of. For us, being the biggest
Right?
democracy in
So
Africa, uh,
we see
is something to be proud of, because in the 1966 coup d'état, which brought the military, the de facto government, in power in the 1960, we saw that that was actually the beginning of the Nigerian problem, if you look at it very well. And from that period until 1999, Nigeria was being ruled by the military government with intermittent democratic interlude, which didn't last more than 5 years. But that is something sure to be proud of. And I wanted to say that when you were asking about something positive about Nigeria, other countries in Africa can look at Nigeria and emulate from their democratic principle. And we still believe that this coming election is going to test the Nigerian democracy the more, because what is going on now is a true definition that the Nigerian democracy is maturing. And if that democracy is being nurtured and being facilitated, especially by the citizens of that country, as we are seeing in Nigeria today, bet you that at a point in time, the people with their activeness in governance should be able to request from the state. The state will be able to be accountable to the people, because now we are seeing that more and more Nigerians are beginning to participate in the democratic system. So it's something to be proud of. As Nigeria is celebrating its 62 uh, birthday, the biggest democracy in Africa sure have something to be proud of, and Nigerian democracy is one of them.
All right, thank you. And to viewers out there, this is Afroweb TV, and the show is called Let's talk. Let's talk with Horeb. Anthony, we're celebrating Nigerians' independence. Nigeria at 62. If you have reactions, you want to participate in the show, please. The number is right there on the screen. +1 319 462 8979. You can actually send a message via WhatsApp. You can call us on WhatsApp if you can make a call directly to us. This will take us to move into the election perspective. 2023 is around the corner, guys. Nigeria has three major, I know we have so many candidates, but today it seems the story has changed a little bit from having two strong powers to having a third force. Jeremiah, what do you see about having a third power, a third force in Nigeria today?
Yeah, I think everything boils down to the assertion by Mr. Kingsley that we have a democratic system that should be emulated by the rest of Africa. When a democracy is so strong, it is inevitable that we have a situation in which now we have three strong, not just any kind of candidate, but three very strong candidates. And I think it's also different because one election term ago, it should have been a case of two people. Because when we look at it, the third candidate, who is in the imagination of the Nigerian youth now, the first candidate of choice, was actually in another party. But a lot of things have happened since then. We have the Lekki massacre that people in power still consider as a myth. We have the frustration of the youth. We have a movement. It might not be a very strong political movement in the form of a political party. The youth have been criticized for not having structure, having passion without structure. So this time around, we have that passion symbolized by this third option. I don't need to mention his name, but I think everybody knows who that option is. So I think it's a good thing. Um, whether Nigeria is a model for other African countries as a democratic state, I think 2023 is going to be the litmus test for that.
Okay, Kingsley. Now we have three major contestants in this election, and the persons of the first one from the ruling party right now. We have Ahmed Bola Tinubu, Asiwaju, called the Jagaban of Lagos. That's what we hear. We don't hear the Jagaban of Nigeria, but it's the Jagaban of Lagos. And we have the former Vice President Atiku Abubakar of the uh, major opposition. That's the PDP, the power to the people. And we know how strong they are. And then we have today obedience from the Labour Party. And if you see a little bit looking at Labour Party and looking at Obi himself, Peter Obi himself, you see it as two different people are not being Labour Party members, but they are just being obedient. What's the difference?
Yes, thank you for that question. It boils down to what Mr. Jeremiah Agbakin has said before. Nigeria is in a situation whereby we've not been before. For the first time in our democracy, we are seeing the benefits of a multi-party system of government. Because believe me, if we did have a two-party system of government in an ethnic diverse country like Nigeria, we would not be able to see what is going on in this country today, right? So today we have a major force that is a strong opposition to the two dominant political parties that we've known since 1999. At least the second one being more recently from 2015. But we've had the PDP from 1999 until when they lost power in 2015, and from 2015 we've seen the APC, which is actually a coalition of the two political party, fractions of party from PDP and some other parties, which didn't have any ideological base to start with. But we are seeing the Labour Party, which is founded on a strong ideology, right? The Labour Party has a strong ideology on the labor of the Nigerians, the labor of the Nigerian workers. So we are seeing this ideology, and gradually this ideology is penetrating into the Nigerian mainstream and people are beginning to understand that their welfare is very important. And if the government is cannot answer questions relating to their welfare, especially their economic welfare, then they can't pilot the nation. And we are seeing OB, especially the youth. Take for instance the youth nation have been criticized over the years for being apolitical, for being parochial, for not participating in the political process of Nigeria. I have been criticized. You all have been criticized that we are a docile generation that doesn't want to commit to change, right? But we saw that change immediately in 2020 with Nigerian youth for different for police brutality. From police brutality, we started, thinking that okay, if we are to make this change, we should participate to elect representatives that will represent our interests in government. That was where the obedient movement was born during that protest. Well, Obi is just someone that came and then this interest met coalesced upon him, and then he is now the embodiment of that yearning desire to participate, to elect representatives that can be held to the table, accountable representative. And if you hear some rhetorics that Obi has been using over the years, he will always tell you, I have been accountable, I have the records, go and verify, go and verify. And Nigerian youths, believe me, have verified. They have verified. And that organic movement, which we all started without any political underpinning, is now embodied by the obedient movement. The obedient movement is nothing else but the yearning of Nigerian youth to have representatives that can be accountable, that can represent their interests. They can assure them that in the next near decade, 8 years is almost a decade, that in the near decade, life will not be truncated in hopelessness, and that their life will become far more better, that their life is going to change, that they're going to even, someone that is 25 years, 30 years old today can still consider himself as a youth. But if you truncate your future for the next 4, 5, 8 years, you will be in your 40s. And by that time, you will be asking yourself, what have you achieved? And you will look back and you'll find out that you didn't even have that enabling environment to even try something. I know Nigerian youth are trying all over the world, trying to see what they can do, but still, there are still a vast majority of Nigerians that don't have that opportunity. And we need that opportunity internally. And this is what the obedient movement are calling for. We need economic revamp. We need political with a political change, and this is what the obedient movement is. So obedient movement just aligned with the right candidate, which is the Labour Party, and we are seeing that coming into play. Now the Nigerian system need an overhaul. Just as the US needed an overhaul during the progressive era, Nigeria state today needs an overhaul, and the obedient movement, together with Peter Obi, embodies that today. Thank you for that question.
Thank you, Mr. Eze. Let me go to Mr. Agbaki. Let's look at the role of tribalism in Nigerian politics. Now, this is 21st century. We've had in these 2023 elections a lot people coming out to say Peter Obi is an Igbo man. For that reason, like we shouldn't vote for him. Some people said, "Oh, we have to vote for Asiwaju because he is a Yoruba man." Then in the north, it's Atiku. In fact, we hear from Dino Melaye that Atiku is the best person because he can unify Nigerians because he married from all angles of Nigeria. So with that, he can be able to help us. So we've had a lot of expressions, a lot of advice or reasons why we have to vote for this person. But looking at in the Nigeria of today, with our democracy, with what we've gone through, what do you think the right step to take? looking at tribalism and what role it has played in Nigerian politics?
Thank you for that question. While Mr. Kingsley was talking, he said something like he was looking for the right terminology to use for political change, political transformation. So he said change. When he said change, like 2015 all over again. So in 2015 or before the 2015 election, the slogan was change, right? People were frustrated. I wanted to say that the frustration of youth now is not really noble. It's not really new. It's is always coming into play during every election. But I think that aside from that observation, I also think that historically Nigerian politics has always been defined, with some exception, by tribalism, and that exception I think was one, the failed republic, the election that almost brought in Abiola, which the mandate that was thrown away by the then political regime of Babangida. So this time around, the world is a much more globalized place. People are smarter now. I mean, talking based on the demography of the youth, we still have some people that we align based on tribalism. You cannot remove that. It's always human nature. And in 2023 election, it's definitely going to play a role because this is a tactic we learned from the British colonial masters, divide and rule. For you to be able to conquer a people, you have to find what divides them. And I think economic retrogression, poverty, lack of jobs, all these things, they don't know ethnic lines. They cross ethnic divides. And smarter youths now, they know that, oh no, these things do not really matter. But my fear or my apprehension is that the realities of youth who have the privilege to go through tertiary education, at least or at most, is not the reality of the average Nigerian dropout, the average Nigerian laborer in sawmills, in the markets, who constitutes the large proportion of the electorate. That is my apprehension. These people will be definitely influenced by tribalism jingle when it's time for them to play that drum. Definitely. I don't know what to do with this realization or what to do with this apprehension, but I think that 2015 is much more different from 2019. 2019 is much more different from 2022, 2023. Because now we have a situation in which the change has been promised and the change has been grand failure. Which is why it makes sense for Peter Obi movement not to adopt that kind of slogan or any slogan that it's about, yeah, we need to change. No, we need to hold ourselves accountable, just like Mr. Kingsley Easy said. When they asked Peter Obi a question about will he go after corrupt politicians or corrupt administrators, he said, "Let the past be in the past, but hold me accountable." That's what he said, and I think that's what we need. And I think, just like he said, uh, um, go and verify. Out of all the campaign of abuse or campaign of throwing away the integrity or throwing away the competence of Peter Obi away, none of them has involved corruption cases. None of them has involved misappropriation of uh, public funds. None of them has involved gross mismanagement of state money. So and I think these things really matter for the average youth now. I think during the campaign that brought in our current president, I think a similar thing was done. He's a clean man, is this, is that. But there were arguments against that. He was a minister under Tony Abacha, He was actually an inept politician or inept leader because his deputy, what's his name, Tunde Diagbon, was the one running the affairs of the country. So we knew this, but we just needed a change that time. We needed a change, whatever that change was. We just needed a breath of fresh air. This time around, I don't think we need a breath of fresh air. I think this time around, it's we have reached an inevitable moment in our history in which not only is a change necessary, but we are the ones to make that change. We that have always been apolitical, we've always shied away from, on the election day, the power of the company has to pick up the light just to make sure that people turn out to vote. By people, I mean the youth. I think this time around, our consciousness has been awakened, and we don't see tribalism. By we, I still mean we youth that witnessed the killing of our fellow countrymen, of our younger colleagues who were massacred in cold blood just because we wanted a better life for ourselves. So I think things have changed. Tribalism, definitely they are going to use it as a tool. It's an old tool. It's tested and trusted. Religious bigotry is a tested and trusted means of dividing a people so that you can conquer them. But I think in this election, I'm waiting to see what will happen. But I think it's going to play a lesser role in the election. And that's my hope. I'm talking more from hope than from analysis. So, yeah, let's see what will happen.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Jeremiah. Let's see what will happen in 2023. I'm going to Mr. Davis Utwigbe. Davis, let's look at a little bit the youth and what they've contributed so far. Now, if you look at the obedient movement, it was said to be an online movement. But today, we are seeing it real on ground. But do you think all these people that are showing today for rallies, they are all going to vote during this election?
Well, thank you very much for that question. Like you said, you are asking the question, do you think they will vote? Nigeria has gone past the era of whereby we just sit at home and watch the TV and hear them call results when we know we never contributed to it. This time around, Nigerians want to take back the country. They want that country to be a better one. Because if you look at the statistics today, a lot of people are traveling out of the country, leaving Nigeria for greener pastures all over the world, going to the UK, the likes of America, and the rise of the others. So if there was job opportunities in the country like that would favor an average youth that finished a 4 years program or a 5 years program, you will not see this whole change of people traveling abroad to get greener pastures or something like that, taking their family alongside. Now look at the obedient movement. Today they had a march of like 4 million man march in Lagos. Look at the crowd that was there. I will not say everybody that was there are willing to vote on the 2023 election, but I'm going to say 95% of people there will definitely vote because they want to take the country back. They want job opportunities. They want the dollar to be sensible. But look at the dollar value today. The dollar value was, I think yesterday we checked, it was around 430 or so. That's extremely high. That's the reason why we want a leader that will come, look at the situation on ground, look at how things can be done to change the dollar and naira situation in the country. At the same time, in terms of security, we have been looking at security like as if it's a child's play. Look at what happened in 2020, in October 2020 at the Lekki toll gate, the cold blood massacre. We're looking at the event that happened at Kuje prison, whereby bandits came and broke down the prison and nothing was done about it. Look at the war killings that they killed people in the church where they were praying to God and trying to pray for a better Nigeria. They killed them in cold blood. We're looking at someone that could tackle security at the same time. Looking at also the oil in our country, the refinery. Let these things work. We don't have to be exporting our oil down to other countries, and that will cause the value of our currency to become like it will be nothing to write home about. Now Nigerians are looking at the person and not the party. Because we're looking at Labour Party. I've never heard of Labour Party before. I don't even know what they stand for until recently, where I started looking at what was going on, looking at the candidates. listening to interviews from this same candidate, what he has for Nigeria. We've listened to him, listened to the likes of Atiku. We've also somehow listened to the likes of also Asiwaju Tinubu, even though he also sends his representative, which is his vice president. I don't see any reason why you are contesting as a president and you are bringing your vice to stand for you in your own place. Nigeria has gone to a level whereby we need to hold people accountable. So the candidates here are trying their best to tell us what they have for us, and I believe the youths know what they want and they want to vote for the right candidate coming 2023 election. That's my own contribution to that. Thank you very much.
Mr. Otwegbe, thank you, viewers out there. Right now, we'll go on a break, and then we'll come back to talk about Mikel Obi, who retired from football recently. I have on the show with me Kingsley Ezi, Davis Otwegbe, and Jeremiah Ataki. This is Let's Talk Horeb Anthony. We'll be back after this break.
Semaine, la rédaction d'Afrowebtv vous propose un condensé de l'actualité des 7 derniers jours. Suivez sur Afrowebtv l'actualité politique, économique et sociale, bref dans toute son entièreté sur www.afrowebtv.com. Veuillez vous abonner à notre chaîne Afrowebtv sur YouTube et Facebook pour ne rien rater sur l'essentiel de l'actualité de la semaine. Afrowebtv au service de la communauté africaine à la diaspora. Afrowebtv, c'est l'Afrique qui gagne.
Welcome back to Let's Talk with Horeb Anthony on Afrowebtv. And then, like we said, this session we're going to be looking at Mikel Obi, the international midfielder, and then who has also played for Chelsea for so many years. So after 18 years in the game, Mikel Obi retired from football. What was it like to be a young player, like a Nigerian player? What had been his achievements? That's what I'm going to discuss with my guests on this show. In the presence of Davis Otwegbe, Jeremiah Baki, and Kingsley Ezi. Let's be looking at that a little bit. Gentlemen, Mikel Obi retires. What has been the journey so far for him? Ezi, how do you see him?
Mikel was one of the best players that we see from Nigeria and one of the best talents to have ever played the game from the continent of Africa. I see his football career as an exception. That is how I see it. In the history of when we look at it from both individual award and from the role that he played in the various clubs that he played during his time. I mean, this is someone that have 11 trophies and decorated with 11 trophies under different football clubs and won everything that a player ever dreams to win in football, except for the World Cup. Played for Nigeria from the under 18 to under 20 to under 23. Retired as a captain. This man is one of the best that we've seen from the African continent. I think he's one of those that we don't recognize much, but he has actually been one of the best that we've seen.
Jeremiah, your view on Mikel Obi as a player?
Mikel Obi, it broke my heart when he joined Chelsea instead of Manchester United. Good luck to him. I think Mikel Obi was an exceptional player, just like Kingsley said, but did he live up to his expectation in terms of his talent? You know, Mikel Obi was voted as the most, um, what did they call it again? The was it was one?
second best student, second
Yeah,
best
after Lionel Messi.
after Lionel Messi.
Yeah,
Yeah.
after Lionel Messi during the 17 tournament, which he performed really, really well. So, as at that time, we thought that it was going to be the next, you know, but really, he did. I think he's moving to Chelsea instead of Manchester United also played a role in his growth as a player because this was somebody that has or that had attacking abilities, you know. But when he went to Chelsea under the tutelage of Mourinho, he was pushed back as a midfielder. You know, it took him 185 games to score his first goal for the club. So those are the things that I'm thinking about now. Well, you know, regardless of whether he lived up to his talent or anything, I think he's an example of hard work and the achievement of a dream. You know, he won two Premier Leagues. I think he won so many other trophies. I think the only thing that eluded him was the Champions League, or I'm not very sure. I think he did
No,
not win the Champions League. I think he
the
won
World
the
Cup.
Europa.
The World Cup.
Yeah. So
Yeah, it's just the World Cup. I think he had one Champions League in 2012, 11 and 12 season, and then they have four FA Cup with Chelsea from 2007, 2009, 2010, and 2012. In 2013, he won African Cup for Nigeria. In 2010 and 2015, he had two English champions. Like he was English champion twice with Chelsea. In 2007 and 2015, two times he won English League Cup with Chelsea. And then we have a Europa League that they won once. That was in 2012, 2013. In 2010, he won English Super Cup. Okay, once that's 12 trophies in total. And he participated in World Cup two times, and he got a third place at the Olympic Games. That was 2015, 2016. I think that's a very good start for him. What this has done, having played 489 games in total. Davis, let's look at him. He played with Messi. Today, Lionel Messi is still playing, but Obi retires. What? How do we explain that? But because the announcement hasn't been on health issues, but is it a general thing for African players or Nigerian players that didn't live like what Jeremiah said to an expectation where we want to see them or still keep doing till today?
Well, thank you very much for that very good question. First of all, we look at the age. I think Mikel will be retired at the age of 35, if I'm not wrong. And is Messi up to 35 yet?
yeah,
It's
Messi's
34
35.
now. 35 now, I think, yeah. I think
35.
it's
35.
the same age now.
You know, these people have played all they can play. Like you've seen the achievements Mikel Obi has made, all from Champions League, League Cups, the right likes of them, And then look at Messi too. Messi has achieved a lot too at the same time, but maybe just not the World Cup. Like you said, I don't know if Messi has won the World Cup before, but I doubt
No, he
it.
has not.
So I feel like these people have done their best and have reached their prime. Messi now, I don't really know if in 2 to 3 years time whether Messi will still be playing. I don't really know if he still has the ability, or maybe after the World, maybe this might be his last World Cup he might play, or might play another World Cup. I doubt it. The same with the likes of Cristiano Ronaldo too. But I feel like these people have given their part to football, and their name will be recognized all over till any time. They have done well for Nigeria, being the captain of Nigeria and all. I feel like it's not about medically. Maybe they could, yeah, medically, maybe there could be a reason why he stopped playing football. But it's not everything people come online to say, okay, I have this issue, that's why I quit football. Some people can be private thing, they had an issue, they feel like the doctor's recommendation, I shouldn't play anymore, and then they decide to hang their boots because the health is more important. Because if you die tomorrow, all that whole sweat, the money, and everything goes. But you're not going to go with it. You're going empty-handed. So regardless of whether you made so much money, so your health is more important. So I feel like maybe that could be a thing. But at the same time, you might feel maybe I've given all, so let me just my money with my kids and all that. So I wish him all the best. But I feel like those factors to contribute, health related or not health related. And at the same time, some people try to, I don't want maybe put their age where they are not supposed to be. Some people they can have a football age, but in that life of Mikel, I think that I just wish him the best, and I hope others too will also, learn from him and, try to achieve what he has achieved. That's all I can say about it.
Yeah.
Congrats to him.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks. Let me still go. Let me go back to Kingsley on this same question of Nigerians retiring. Do they retire earlier than they're supposed to? Now, Mikel Obi already in 2019 retired from the international scene. I mean, stop playing with Nigeria. And people are accused a lot that, okay, maybe Mikel Obi probably should be older than he is. Maybe they call it the factor, the Nigerian age factor. Does it also play a role?
Thank you very much. That's a very dicey question. I'll first of all start by saying that players have different philosophies that govern them. Someone like Ibrahimovic said he'll be playing till whenever, right? That's his
Cavani wants to do the
philosophy.
same too.
Cavani wants to do the same thing. Someone like Ronaldo is also set to do the same thing. But we see some people retiring also very, very early in their career. And it doesn't have to be because they are no longer energetic or because of their age, but because of some other reasons which they might not want to share with people public. And if a player feels like he is no longer going to be on top of his game and contribute to anything, any team that is going to be a part of, I think it is rational to say to retire, especially when you have someone like Mikel that have won so many titles. So I don't think as people, I don't think that there is age or something like that. I mean, Mikel is still 35 years old, but maybe he has other important engagement that he feels that he wants to be part of, and this is nothing. He doesn't have the responsibility to tell the public what that is. He has contributed his quarters. If people or if young players can play over a decade and as he's to their clubs and nations, I think they can also beat their chest and say, okay, I'm retiring at the age of 35. I have contributed to football, and that should be a happy ending. And that is where every young player aspires to be. So I don't think age is more of a factor than the fact that the player himself has evaluated himself and seen that it is time to get invested in other career. Football. Once your age start going down, it's also a sign that you need to also explore other areas of your life, which will you still have a long life to live. So you need to plan these things. Some players like Messi or Ronaldo that you're talking about may have be planning this thing along line with their career just because of the stellar careers that they've had and because of their advisors. But someone like Mikel may want to, okay, let me go and get a business knowledge or something that we don't know, or a skill that we don't know, and then start go into the next phase of my life, or even establish a coaching school, or nobody knows. But I think retiring early also gives you that opportunity to plan these things along. Some people like Ibrahimovic have his wife planning all those things for him, so he doesn't need to bother about that. But some people like Mikel, we don't know what is going on. But I sure know that some considerations of this level is one of the reasons why he's retiring.
Thank you so much for that. Jeremiah, anything to add?
Yeah, I was going to say that we tend to forget that footballers are still human beings with obligations. At the end of the day, they have families. They are not as good as they were before. Um, a player like Ronaldo de Lima retired quite early due to injuries, but we still consider him one of the greatest players of all time. So retiring early or retiring old does not. I mean, it's part of the conversation about longevity that you are a legend in the game. You played into your old age. Somebody like Paolo Maldini. But someone like Paolo Maldini is a legend. Somebody like Ronaldo de Lima retiring early is still a legend. So it's about your talent that you displayed for the world to see, your contributions and your decoration as a player.
not a lot. We don't have a lot to discuss here, but the basic things was just to wish Mikel will be all the best. You see reactions from some of his, I mean, his colleagues at Chelsea, uh, that they were wishing him to, good luck in whatever plans he have for his life now after football. But from Chelsea, has been to some other places to play. Do you feel like players, football is just like these days, after all these international clubs that gives you name or this and that, they always move to another club to make some money, more money. Uh, like, can anyone, have you had players who just, after the major club, they retired and they never thought of going to some other places to make money, more money? Now, my question is just this simply. Is it because, is it the lack of international clubs that push like players to go to clubs where we think that okay they are going there because of money? Let me ask Davies the
Well,
question.
I would say yes. Also, money factor also contributes to players leaving. Maybe because, like you just reminded me, when you talk about money in football, the first person that comes to my head is Oscar, because Oscar left Chelsea Chinese that we don't even know about. We don't even watch. I'm not a fan. I don't watch their league. That doesn't mean that they don't play well or something. But I know I don't even know their name till date. But he left at a young age. So what could have you can Oscar could have achieved a lot in Chelsea, won a lot of trophies. Who knows? He might even still be playing now in Chelsea, or maybe gone to a bigger club. But he chose a Chinese league where he knows that they were offering a watering sum of money that he could not reject. Some of these players, they're looking at football at the same time, looking at the future, because when they retire from football, what would they have to, enjoy later on? So Oscar, I feel like he did his own part, even though he didn't play for the big leagues and all that. But at least we made so much football from that particular area. Now, the other players too, at the end of their retirement, they go to American leagues to just maybe play for some like 1 or 2 seasons there to make some extra money for themselves because they feel like those countries pay a lot. So I feel like yes, it happens. Some people go because of money. Some people go because of the passion. They want to just explore other leagues. But I won't say players don't just go to other clubs because of money. Yes, some of them do, but some of them just love the league and want to play and partake in that kind of league. So that's the only thing I can say about that.
Okay, let's hear the view of Kingsley. Your view on the question.
That is something that I always think about as a human being. First of all, we should recognize that these players are human beings, right? And they are going to make decisions as humans do. So they are not robots, that will take extraordinary decisions. First of all, if you are a player that played in your highest levels when you are young, you also see that when you're getting old, those competitive leagues may not be able to offer you chances to play. And these players sometimes still feel like they want to go to a place where they can contribute or help a team to achieve some of their dreams. Like a player like Mikel, he went to Fenerbahce, and that year they won the Turkish league. And I mean, for a player, that is always the goal, to be able to help a team to achieve a major trophy. So when you see that those competitive leagues are not going to offer you that opportunity to play as much as you want, or you feel like your contribution to that team at that point is limited because of the competitiveness of the league, it is a rational choice to leave. And if you're living to a place where they pay you higher wages, is even better, because I mean you don't have anything to prove again. And for players like Oscar, as Davis have said, Mr. Davis have said, it is about where they are coming from, which is what influences the choices that all of us make as humans. He was coming from the slums of Brazil, and he said that it has been his desire to be able to change the life of his family. And when the Chinese contract came, it was the opportunity for him to make that dream become a reality. That is something that someone that is not a football, we also do. We all always want to change our life, and I don't see how this is different from what footballers do in their career, in the pursuit of their career. While they are held accountable by their fans, I still feel like the fans should also understand that these people are still human beings who make rational choices as all of us do. Thank you.
Jeremiah, yes, we can't go without hearing your view on that.
Money makes the world go round, regardless of who you are. So I don't know. Football itself is propelled by money. The big players. I mean, the TV rights owners, the sponsorship giants. Everybody is in there for the money. The image rights people, the endorsement. They are not just giving you money as an endorsement just because they really like you, but because of the awareness you bring to their brand. So I really don't know. I don't really know much about the economic angle in the decision of players to go to smaller leagues. But just like Kinsey said, these are players that are now replaceable because they are young. They don't have that energy again. So a coach in that kind of league would, of course, play younger players that are more hungry. And I think that's the allegation against Ronaldo. When Rooney was talking about Ronaldo's contribution to Manchester United last season, he said Manchester United needed fresh, young, and hungry players who have something to prove. So this is a valid argument because every coach wants to win a trophy, and you win a trophy by winning matches. So it's going to other leagues is an opportunity for them to still get regular playing time, while still making money by the way. So they are still humans. They need money. We don't know where they are in their life. And also another thing I want to think about is that in England, for example, the taxation system is very high. When you go to a league like Chinese Super League, when you go to, I don't know about I mean, we are all in America right now, but I don't know how much they tax footballers. But I know that leagues like the Turkish league, Russian league, um, Chinese Asian leagues, they are very generous on the tax side. So why won't a player who is on the dust of their career want to consider going to places where they are making a lot of money to be too taxed?
Okay, thank you guys. Thank you for your contributions. I think we're going to have another break, and then we come back for the last segment of this show. What we'll be talking about entertainment. So, viewers out there, this is Afroweb TV, and the show is Let's Talk with Horeb and Tony. On the show with me, Jeremiah Agbaki, Davis Otuegbe, and Kingsley Exe. Yes, we'll be together right from time. We're going to have a break, and we'll come back. It's going to be the time for entertainment.
Semaine, la rédaction d'Afrowebtv vous propose un condensé de l'actualité des 7 derniers jours. Suivez sur Afrowebtv l'actualité politique, économique et sociale, bref, dans toute son entièreté, sur www.afrowebtv.com. Veuillez vous abonner à notre chaîne Afrowebtv sur YouTube et Facebook pour ne rien rater sur l'essentiel de l'actualité de la semaine. Afrowebtv au service de la communauté africaine à la diaspora. Afrowebtv, c'est l'Afrique qui gagne.
Okay, guys, welcome back on this show. Thank you so much. And then, viewers out there, thank you for staying with us. We are right now on the last part of the show, and we want to talk about a little bit about entertainment. Now, the last trend, I know Nigerian music moves from one beat to another, one dance to another. And the recent one has been Amapiano, which is mostly played by the South Africans. You know, we listen to South Africans playing Amapiano a lot. And the major man trending on Amapiano today is Ashake, with different albums that has been just making booms out there. But here we are. We've seen Star Boy also coming out, giving us Amapiano. We have Tiwa Savage that also brought about their own style of Amapiano. And what we are doing here today is just to look at Ashake's Amapiano, Tiwa Savage's Amapiano, Starboy's Amapiano, and see, is it, are they different versions, or what are we seeing? Like, is everyone trying to go with the trend, or are we supposed not to have even bothered to go with the trend, just be ourselves? Those are the questions we want to look at. Let me start with Jeremiah first. Jeremiah, uh, let's take a look at Ashake first, his music, and then compare it to what others have been playing around him. How do you differentiate between his style and their style?
Um, First of all, I want to make a disclaimer that I'm not a music expert. So any opinion that I give today is the opinion of an average Nigerian music enthusiast. But based on my understanding of Afrobeat, the evolution of Afrobeat with the S, with the capital, with the small letter S,
Yes,
um,
we.
I think Afrobeat is evolving, right? You know, Nigerian culture is the culture of appropriation, whether in our politics, we modeled our political system after the American presidential system of government, whether it's about our music, the pioneer of Afrobeat himself, Fela Kuti, he appropriated elements of American jazz, high life and so many other stuff. In terms of our cuisine, our food, we appropriated the jollof rice, and then it's us now. So I think Afrobeat is not uh a state. I think it's a process, it's a movement, it's in a stage in which it is appropriating the Amapiano beat, and it's not a new thing. I think people don't really give enough credit to Niniola, who is Teniola's sister, uh, in the way in which she brought something that looks like Amapiano, which is the house dance, that popular in South Africa, but it was not mainstream in the Nigerian entertainment industry. As at that time, that was early 2015-16. So now, Amapiano beat is here to stay. Comparing Ashake's Amapiano to everybody else's Amapiano, especially Whiskey, for the sake of this conversation, I think there's a difference. Of course, every artist is different. The way they produce their songs is different. Their composition style is different. And one thing that we are actually discussing the differences, if any, between the Amapiano of one artist or the other, because what really need is diversity of style, not everybody going the same direction. Everybody wants to sing the same thing, and it's an inevitable outcome for people or for artists to have different version of Amapiano. Ashake's Amapiano is very organic. It came and we didn't even know that it was Amapiano. Because his vocals were different. His Yoruba infused kind of lyricism and rhythm. And he also incorporates elements of I think classical music. With the violins, with the orchestra, with the choir. Kind of rendering in his music. I think that's a very big difference compared to Whiskey's Amapiano, especially with his new song "Back to Me" or Tiwa Savage "Kuku," a calamity that I think shouldn't have happened in the first place to Nigerians who are really enjoying what it means to be a Nigerian living in the era of Afrobeat. So I don't know how to classify or how to uh, actually talk about Tiwa Savage new Amapiano Kuku phone, but um, we are still going to be seeing a lot of different Amapiano as time goes on because now is the time in which we have a lot of artists that are hungry, they want to get themselves out there. It's more competitive. So different evolution, different modulation, different variations of Amapiano beat is going to come. But I think for now, my favorite Afrobeat artist is still Zinoliski. I will say that with my last breath because it doesn't
Okay.
have the what's it called, the coverage that Ashake has, But I think his Amapiano beat is a model for every other artist that really wants to play that Amapiano beat in their sound.
Uh, Kingsley, AJ, Jeremiah said Tiwa Savage song, the latest one, Cuckoo Phone, is a calamity that shouldn't have happened. And we read from Twitter there's been a lot of comments, even Whiskey said no, like, what were you expecting or what were Nigerians expecting from them, different from what they've delivered? Kingsley.
Thank you very much for that question. Thank you, Jeremiah, for that analysis of the Amapiano and what it represents. I think the Afrobeat itself is now a global beat, a global music that people enjoy, and we've not been used to accommodate. We've been used to the evolution in terms of, okay, this is the stage it is going up, it is going up, and there is diversity, and then we can see what each person brings. I think the question here is, and I will reply Whiskey and some other people, like, what did they bring to the Amapiano that they think is different, or that will bring the Afrobeat up the way that it has been surging over I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. The Afrobeat has been going from one diversity to another, but at the same time, if you listen to this, there is a diversity, but it's unique and it is good. But when I listen to, for instance, Tiwa Savage song, the Cuckoo Phone, I couldn't see anything new, and I couldn't also see her being immersed in the beat with the lyrics. I should also say that I am not a music expert, but like, I listen to music. So when I listen to Tiwa Savage in that beat, she was not immersed in that beat. That beat was just playing and she was just saying something, which doesn't show that she was passionate about that creation of the beats, of that music. And when you see that disconnect in any music, anybody can see that. I don't even those that are denying it can see that she was not into that beat, which is why I think that she should be able to like fine tune that beat to fit her own style of music, which we all enjoy. By the way, Tiwa Savage is a big star, but we're just saying that that release shouldn't have happened if actually she I don't know, but I don't.
Well, Davis, you share the same opinion as Kingsley.
Well, I would say first of all, like the word Jeremiah used, calamity. That song, I never played it for once because I listened to what Anytime something trends, I'm a Twitter person. I go to Twitter, I look at it, I see what's trending. I see why is Tiwasabi trending today, and then I go up to the tweet and I see somebody saying "Coco fun," but not here to have some fun. So I'm worried that that's not Tiwasabi's style. That's not somebody that sang "Somebody Go Find Me One Day." That's not somebody that sang a lot of hits that were back to back from Tiwa Savage. Yeah, that was like my man. I was like, is it that somebody just told her that okay, look at the lyrics here, sing. We don't want you to bring in any flavor. This is what we want you to say. That was so off. His song did not even top charts. It was. I don't even think it was even in the top 100. Or maybe it came into top 100. I don't know, but I never saw it in the first 10 or first 20 or first 30 because Nigerians really didn't really appreciate the song. But sometimes in Nigeria, it's those bad things that people say that make your song trend the most. People will be like, let's go hear what they said. Before you know it, your song starts trending. The same thing goes with Wiki. Last time I heard the song, I was like, maybe this ideology of you hear a song for the first time, maybe let me hear it in 3 days time. I might like it. So I gave benefit of doubt. Let me hear it again, and I was like, this is not Whiskey. Is it that maybe he was just so my fans really want some music? Let me just give them maybe one of my average songs. Let them just hold that one for now till my album drops. That kind of thing. Then you see the whole Whiskey FC everywhere saying, "Oh, this song is a hit. This song is a that." The next thing, they said he was the founder of Amapiano. Amapiano has been there for a long time. The likes of Runtown with DJ Mafarisa, when they started the Amapiano movement, the likes of Davido with the likes of Makifi, is it Makifi Solo, those brands in South Africa. He also had a song with Focalista. He had a song with the DJ Mafarisa too at the same time. Amapiano has been there. Burna Boy too has had his own taste of it. So not just because Wizkid dropped a song with Amapiano, they said, oh, he's the founder. He did it long time ago. I'm a Wizkid fan. I love Wizkid. I love Davido. I love Burna Boy. I love everybody. But when it doesn't even have to be when Wizkid drops something, he's the first person that did it. Asake now compared. I love Ashake's album. That album is rated 9 over 10, if not possible 10 over 10. It was a good flavor. You put in a lot of work in that album. This is somebody that never knew was going to be in the limelight. This is somebody that came out barely 6 months ago, and now he's shutting down shows. He just sold out his O2 Academy show in UK 3 times. He sold that show 3 times in less than 15 minutes. This is somebody that people want to see, people want to admire. The nearest features, the likes of Ashake, the likes of Fireboy, the likes of Zino Liski, the likes of Buju, Benson, these people will really go far. We'll not be looking at Davido, Wizkid, and Burna Boy anymore. We'll be looking at these people in the coming future. So I'm trying to say that these people have gone far, but I felt like Tiwa Savage could have done more in that song at the same time the likes of Wizkid. But regardless of everything, Afrobeat to the world, and they're doing very well. Proud Nigerians, and I love what they're doing all over the world. That's what I have to say about it.
Okay, guys, we have to bring the show to an end at this point, and I really want to say thank you, Jeremiah, thank you, Kingsley, thank you. But before we go, I'll give each of you a chance to, big shout out to friends. It is an Independence Day. Let me start from Davis. You have 5 seconds.
Thank you very much. I want to give a big shout out to everybody all over in Nigeria. Happy Independence Day to my family, the family of Horeb, and also to the love of my life, Tamara Brown. I wish you all the best. Happy Independence to Nigeria, and thank you very much.
Kingsley.
Thank you for the opportunity. Happy Independence Day, Nigeria. I'm a proud Nigerian. I'll always be a proud Nigerian. A big shout out to my family. I'm really proud of all of you. Happy Independence. And happy birthday to one of my friends, Ifeanyi Noel Anwona, who is the founder of Voice Champion and the record breaker who has topped the Nigerian internet for so long. Happy birthday. I wish you all the best. Thank you.
Yes, Jeremiah.
Yeah, I would say happy independence, but many Nigerians are like, I don't want to hear it. So regardless of that, happy independence, we cannot change it. Fact. And also, happy celebration to every Nigerians. Every Nigerian music lover. Afrobeat is being considered as a category for the Grammy Award. So that's a good thing. Thank you for hosting this show, for having us around, Mr. Horeb Anthony, and thank you to our viewers for prioritizing watching this show over more important in their lives. So thank you all.
Okay, thank you, dear viewers. Thank you so much for being with us from the beginning of this show to the end. Thank you, Monsieur Roger Achou, right in the studio, taking care of this production. And to Dr. Oguntola at the University of Lagos. Today is a birthday. Happy birthday to you. I wish you all the best. Thank you for being a teacher. Thank you for being a sister. Thank you for being an advisor. Thank you, every one of you at the University of Mississippi, HCXA, the African Caribbean Student Association. You guys watching us now, all the friends around. I say thank you to every one of you. This is Let's Talk with Horeb Anthony. And next Saturday, we're going to be with you again with different topics and different discussions. Till then, have a great weekend and have fun. Bye.
Semaine, la rédaction d'Afrowebtv vous propose un condensé de l'actualité des 7 derniers jours. Suivez sur Afrowebtv l'actualité politique, économique et sociale, bref, dans toute son entièreté, sur www.afrowebtv.com. Veuillez vous abonner à notre chaîne Afrowebtv sur YouTube et Facebook pour ne rien rater sur l'essentiel de l'actualité de la semaine. Afrowebtv, au service de la communauté africaine à la diaspora. Afrowebtv,